From the basement of La Penta, this is WICR.
Hello everyone, welcome back to our breakdown of the brand new Star Wars The Force Awakens trailer. Just went 15 minutes strong, going over theories, going over everything. I don't know if there's a better way to segue into this one than just kind of reconfirming that I am on the dark side. I am rooting for Kylo Ren. I am rooting for Captain Phasma. I'm sorry, I love the Jedi as much as the next guy, but you know, that lightsaber is just too cool to root against. I'm sorry, guys.
Joe, I'm going to have to lock you out of here in like 5 minutes.
Hey, if I had that lightsaber, you know what I could do? Cut right through that door.
You might chop off my hand when I try to lock the door.
Of course not, Rob. I love you. I wouldn't cut off your hand.
You just said you're evil. You just said you're evil. And now you're not going to cut off my hand?
No.
Come on, villain. You got to cut off my hand.
All right, Rob. If it'll make you happy, I'll cut off your hand.
Awesome. I get to use a metal. I get to use a robotic one like Luke.
All right, let's go. We did one note that was worth mentioning, I thought, was no C-3PO in the trailer.
Nope.
We saw R2 because we saw Luke's hand on R2, but no C-3PO. I thought that was kind of interesting. The only really big character we don't see.
We don't want to hear him complaining the whole time, being a nervous wreck like me.
How much you want to bet he's the first character we see on the screen when the movie starts?
Who?
C-3PO.
Him and R2 walking together, and he's complaining yet again.
Throwback.
How did I get sent out here? It's always your fault, R2. That's all I feel C-3PO
we
does.
got the new droid too, the little soccer ball droid, who seems like it's gonna be part of the family. So we're gonna have 3 droids now. I like the soccer ball droid.
Yeah, he's cool. He's always rolling around. I go to Target and I'm just like, I'm in the toy section yet because of my little nephew, and it's like I look around.
Sure, that's why. It's
all
right.
Because my 10-year-old self comes out.
Hey, I'm buying.
I had to admit to it.
I'm buying all the figures. There's no shame in it.
And I see that machine. I see the robot. I'm like, oh my god, if only I could have you right now. It's just like so huge and everything. He's making all the noises. I'm like, wow, this is so cool.
Man, in Chewbacca too. Chewbacca, what did we see him twice?
Yeah, we saw him with his arms up.
We did see him with his arms up. And that's one of the cool things too. I'm excited for is because Chewie doesn't look like he's aged.
No, I don't get it.
Everybody looks like they've aged, obviously because humans get older, but not Chewbacca. He looks, if anything, he looks slimmer than he did. I thought he looked a little bit slimmer than he did in the old ones.
Oh, he definitely did.
Maybe he's been working out.
I'm actually, like, I start thinking ahead. I start making all these plots in my head. Do you think we could see, like, the death of maybe Chewbacca in these next, like, 6 films?
Here's an interesting theory about this. I don't know if you guys know, but there was, like, a comic book made where they made, like, a 7, 8, and 9th movie. I don't know how closely it was to what J.J. Abrams is doing.
I hope it's not close. I wanted this to go on a whole nother track.
Okay, me too. But in that alternate line, Chewbacca does die. I think in this 8th movie.
Wow.
But again, I doubt
Disney's gonna change everything.
I'm sure. I doubt it would be close to it. But that would be interesting. You would think that they're gonna have to let somebody go. Because, again, a lot of these older characters are old as it is. And if you remember one scene, there's a scene where who we think is Han's daughter is, like, crying. Obviously, something probably happens. But I don't know. I could definitely see one of the old characters biting the dust.
We could see Luke possibly, too. There's no doubt about it. Even though Luke has always been the main character.
I just want to throw this out there. I'm trying to figure out these storylines because I find them to be so intriguing. Luke made, or Mark Hamill, I should say, in an interview months ago while they were filming, made a reference towards the first movie and looking in the future to Episode 8, Episode 9, saying that The Force Awakens is more about the development of new characters, and there's also been speculation saying that Episode 8 is kind of the movie that they're saving to bring Luke out into a more prominent role.
Yes.
So I'm kind of thinking that this whole movie is going to play itself out. And then in the end, Luke is going to make an appearance, and that'll lead into the next one, something like that. And then I read something else where Luke has some Jedi Academy, and where he's training Jedis, and that would kind of. I hope it's on the Dagobah system, by the way.
Oh, I agree with the first one though. I definitely think. I think this first movie is about establishing those 3 new people we've seen: Han's daughter,
right?
the Jedi, the guy we saw with the blue lightsaber in the forest, and then the other guy. I don't know if you guys remember. He seems. I'm pretty sure he's a fighter. He's a fighter pilot.
Yeah.
Because he's always like in those big battle
Poe.
scenes in the air. Poe. I think it's about establishing those three, and like Antonio said, Luke's probably gonna come. It seemed like when we seen Kylo Ren, it's always been like on that fiery part. Kind of looks like Mustafar from Revenge of the Sith. So maybe their end battle or a big battle at some point takes place on this lava place. Maybe that's what, because we saw, where did we see Luke's robotic hand?
On that
Touching
planet.
that place.
Yep.
Maybe that's where like the big conclusion to the movie is.
Yeah, I was thinking, like, when you guys were just talking about it, how you're saying Episode 8 is supposed to be predominantly Luke Skywalker. I'm thinking, when we see his arm in that video, could that maybe be the last scene of Episode 7? Could that
Ooh.
possibly be?
Would they throw the
Would
last
they
scene
end
into
it?
a trailer though? That's the
No,
only thing.
but with sometimes with movies, you know, you'll see the trailer, and sometimes that's the opening scene. Sometimes you'll have the ending scene, so it would be a surprise.
That would be pretty bold if they did that. Here's what I want to know is, though, are they reusing, how many places are they reusing we've seen before? I mean, we saw a snowy place. Is that Hoth?
Yeah, Hoth is actually my favorite planet that
Yeah.
they've used, because when they had the Winter War, that was unbelievable
so
in
cool.
Empire Strikes Back.
And it did look, I mean, as soon as we saw that picture where, like, there's the fight, all the big ship fight happening on that snowy planet, that looked like Hoth to me. The lava place looks identical to Mustafar. But I doubt they would use Mustafar again. But I don't know. We could see the same places we've seen before come up again.
Do you think now, we're looking at other cities, obviously Billy D. Williams, I think he's been held off the cast for this, the Star Wars movies. Can we see them going to the Cloud City at any point in these movies?
I would be shocked if they didn't. Because think about it. Think how much cool stuff you could do with a big fight in the Cloud Cities. I think you could do some really cool stuff with that.
And it's going to be a lot different, since we don't really ever know if Lando ever went back to the Cloud City and took over.
No, we don't.
Because remember, last time we were there, the whole city evacuated because Darth Vader lied about his plan, took everybody away, and was just taking over the universe at that point.
Here's what I'm waiting for, too. And obviously, they would show no sign of it in the trailer just to make it a complete, like, surprise when the movie happens. Is Boba Fett. I would be shocked if he doesn't have some form of coming up in this movie. Shocked.
Oh, I hope they show him, because I've been hearing rumors like the last 6 years about spin-offs that he actually survived in Return of the Jedi.
The Sarlacc pit? I thought
Yeah.
he fell in the Sarlacc pit.
Well, that's
No, but there's rumors that he actually got out of it. So
Let's say George Lucas wrote and Boba Fett actually dies. All J.J. Abrams or whoever the director has to do is little change of the script. Boba Fett, he has survived it. And if anybody could survive it, let's be honest, it's Boba Fett. Because, well, here's how the Star Wars thing is going to work. We get a core movie, we get a spin-off. We get a core movie, we get a spin-off.
because we're also getting Han Solo also.
So it's, yeah, we get, exactly. One of those core movies is going to be a Boba Fett movie. There's no way about it. I mean, he's too popular of a character. He's probably the least prominent, had the least prominent role in a Star Wars movie who has the biggest cult following. People love Boba Fett. He's only in Return of the Jedi for like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
That's it. You see him a little bit at the end of The Empire Strikes Back for 5 seconds, and then you see him for 15 minutes in Return of the Jedi, and then you don't see him anymore.
But he's been having that lasting impact for years on all of us.
He has. And that's why I think he's too big of a character for them not to do something with.
Oh no, you had to bring him back, or some kind of bounty hunter. That's what I really want to see in the series. What kind of bounty hunters are they gonna have in this?
You know you've got to bring him back for sure. That's interesting. I wonder if droids are gonna have any role in this too, because we saw in the last 3, how big a role the droids had. Are they gonna come into this at all?
Maybe. I'm getting another feeling that maybe something happens to R2-D2, and that other robot we saw might take his place.
I mean, let's be honest. Do you really need 3 robots or 3 big robots around?
No, you don't. That's the thing. It's always the 2.
And it's one of those things where if you did lose one of the classic ones, people would be sad, but it's a loss you can kind of throw in there. and at the same time, I don't think it'd be too devastating.
Well, with R2, I couldn't. I think I would.
I trade him over C-3PO. If
Because
anybody, make it C-3PO.
He just tortured him in every movie. He used to push him off cliffs and then fly over because C-3PO couldn't do anything. He would attach C-3PO's head to random things, and
You guys saw the poster, right?
Oh my God.
We haven't talked about this.
We have now talked about the poster.
There's a Death Star in the picture, and I want to know your thoughts on this, because is that the right way to go after we've seen 2 Death Stars destroyed and blown
flip
up?
that
Already?
around for a minute. You can see the tractor beam from the Death Star.
Right.
there,
No,
exactly.
it looks a little bit different. Obviously, there's a giant, trench going around with a giant tractor beam right in the middle. It's not like placed up top where it used to be. It looks a little bit more featured. It kind of looks like a Pokeball, honestly. But,
it does a little bit.
We see C-3PO in the poster. He wasn't in the trailer, so at least we know he's there. A couple new characters. There's a Rebel fighter in there. You mentioned earlier before the show, we talked about the stormtroopers, and there is what looks to be like a leader of the stormtrooper.
There's Captain Phasma is there. I can see him.
He's got a cape. He's a stormtrooper with a cape. He looks like all chromed out. Looks pretty cool.
I love the chrome. That's why I'm rooting for the bad guys. But go on.
Yeah, no, the poster looks cool. I want to know what your guys' thoughts on this Death Star thing, because do you think that's played out? Do you think, it's proven not to work twice? The Jedis, the Rebels blew it up.
That's the funny thing.
Why are they bringing this back?
I saw the poster, and until you said something, I did not notice that there was a Death Star there. That's really interesting to me. Look, let's be honest. They had the first Death Star again. They blew it up. The second Death Star was never fully completed. They never fully completed the second Death Star. So I don't know. The biggest thing that we are going to need to learn right off the bat is, and I don't know if this information is out there, is how long is this after Return of the Jedi? Has anyone told us? Or because if it's that far after Return of the Jedi, they might not just have one Death Star. The Empire might have built like 30.
Yeah.
Clearly they're reduced in a weaker than they were because they lost their key leadership. But you would think they have the resources to build a couple more.
Yeah. But this Death Star, it's always, with the villains in cinema. It's like, we tried it 2 times. Let's try it a third.
Yeah, let's do it again.
And that thing's going to blow up. But the thing is, if this Death Star might actually be cool, because remember when we finished Return of the Jedi, how it was already functioning, but wasn't fully operational. Imagine now if they're making that same exact Death Star, but now it's completed.
Yeah.
So now we can see what its full power is, because the Emperor made it a lot different from the first one in New Hope.
This is very, very, very interesting. When you go on the Star Wars site, they actually have like their own like encyclopedia kind of thing, and you click on different planets, characters, whatever, and that gives you a description. This is called the Death Star we're talking about in the poster. It's called the Star Killer Base. Under the description, all it says is an ice planet converted into a stronghold of the First Order and armed with a fiercely destructive new weapon capable of destroying entire star systems. So they're saying that they took a planet. It says an ice planet converted. So we don't know if it's Hoth. It could be another ice planet.
Could be another ice
planet. And they basically put armor around it and turned it into this giant, I guess, Star Killer. That's what they're calling it, a Star Killer base. So maybe it's not vulnerable to an attack as the other Death Stars were, where you can fly in and shoot a missile inside of it. This is more of like just a planet full of armor. I'm not sure, but
so maybe now when we look at the trailer, that's the fight we were seeing.
That's what I was gonna say.
That's
when
the fight
see
we were
that
seeing.
fight happening, I guarantee you that's the base. They're probably attacking the
so
base.
maybe they learned. The dark side, the Sith, they learned from those 2 attacks on the Death Star that they can't just build this big floating ball of metal, that they need to just stay on a planet.
Put it on the ground.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Very, very,
And that's the thing, too, is I think, like you said, I don't know how excited I would be if there was, like, another Death Star in the sky.
Yeah.
Like, let's do the same thing over
exactly.
again.
That's what I was saying. There's no way they could have
But if you put
done
it in the ground in a base, that changes it up a little bit. I don't know. It just... What's the main storyline going to be here? Like, what is it? Training these 3 new guys? Is it Luke trying to restart the Jedi Order? So many big I just want to know what's the big focal point here for movie number 1.
I think you want to go first. I already know. I have this feeling that Kylo Ren is related to Luke, to the Skywalker family.
There's a big possibility.
I think that you talked about training the Jedis, and I think that Luke was already training Jedis, and I think there was a disturbance, and that's what led to the whole war. I think that there was probably, after Return of the Jedi, there was probably peace for some time, and then things started to get chaotic. The Sith came back, and that's what we're seeing here. But I think that there was a disturbance in the Jedi and the Jedi and the rebel side of everything, and I think that that's what we're seeing. And I don't know. I just think that Kylo Ren is definitely related to the Skywalkers. That's what I'm basing my thoughts off of, and I think that Luke is gonna somehow, I don't know, find a way to appear towards the end of the movie, and then we'll find out more. But I don't know.
This film, I have to agree with you. I think it's going to be more of Kylo Ren. It's going to come out if he was related to the Skywalkers. He might be just a Skywalker who fell to the dark side, influenced by the spirits of the dark side, and it might just be him carrying out what could be his grandfather or maybe uncle's revenge. He could be Princess Leia's son, maybe. So you never really know, but it maybe it's just the opening of a war that we're about to see. Are we going to be seeing them looking for Luke Skywalker, trying to bring the end to him and his group? Because you know what, if it's the end of Luke Skywalker, we're seeing his group. Maybe his group is going out to try to stop these guys from taking over and getting to him.
Yeah, I mean, man, there's so many things that we came into this show that I wouldn't have thought about like before, like the connection Antonio made. Like, I think that it could be a legitimate thing. Like you said there, like, when does Luke come in? Is that big fiery place the finale here? Are they trying to find Luke or rescue him or something like that? I don't know. There's so many different places to go here. But I mean, I think it's scary when you think about it. It's not that far away. The movie's not that far away.
2 months.
2 months.
One last thing. I'm all about reading these opinions.
This is the final note.
Okay.
Let's end it off.
In the trailer, it seemed like a lot. The trailer seemed to imply that a lot of the events that happened in Return of the Jedi seemed to become kind of like myths, because you heard Han Solo saying, "Oh, it's true, it's out there," and then they were speaking of the dark side. So maybe either things were hushed up from the Empire, and they were trying to get rid of any relation, anything I should say related or looking back towards the Jedis. They're just trying to wipe that out and kind of have everyone forget about that, because it seemed like all the younger generation, the new characters of Rey and everyone, and Finn, and they were just wondering what exactly happened. So you mentioned how much time has passed. I think that's the biggest question.
Has to be the biggest question.
And will we get answers to what happened in between this movie and Return of the Jedi?
Well, because one last thing I want to say too is, let's say 30 years has passed. If it's been 30 years and Luke hasn't gotten like a lot more Jedi, well, what have you been doing? You've been like sleeping the whole time?
Something must have happened. I don't know.
If it's 5 years, it's like, okay, I could see if it's taking you a little bit more time. But if it's a long time, like, Luke, what are you doing, pal? So restart the Jedi Order. Come on. Really good stuff.
Oh, wait, one last thing.
Oh, okay. No, I didn't know.
One last thing.
Han and Leia crying.
Together.
Maybe we see Luke so isolated. Maybe they think that Luke is no longer, in the picture, but we see him pop up in the end of the movie and he's still alive. I don't know. I have a feeling that the Empire overtook the Jedis. They think Luke is gone. Kylo Ren is the only Jedi left, trying to fill in for Darth Vader, and then Luke pops in the end to save the day and says, "You know what? I'm still here. This isn't going to go down like this. I defeated Darth Vader. I already defeated the Empire once. I'm back." Movie ends, and we're already, hyping up Episode 8. I don't know.
Antonio might have written the script.
I don't know. I don't know.
Saying, he might have written the script.
There's so much going on in my mind.
He must know somebody in
so
this
much,
Star Wars movie.
There's so much going on in my mind, you guys. It's driving me nuts.
Kylo Ren win. Just
does Kylo Ren win? I think he survives. I think he's gonna last the whole trilogy.
That's all I need to know. That's all I need to know.
I'm all with that. I don't want a one and done.
Kylo Ren.
I don't want a one and done like Darth Maul. They need a villain.
I'm gonna put this up on Twitter, Rob. I'm gonna put "Go Kylo Ren." Rob is Kylo Ren's biggest fan.
No.
Go Kylo Ren.
Never. I mean, I'll just take his lightsaber. That's the only cool part.
That's why I love Kylo Ren, Rob. Don't worry. When we go to the theater, we're gonna all see it. I'm gonna dress up as Kylo.
I'm going twice, just so you know, because if I can't go with you guys on December 17th, because my show's already sold out, I will be seeing that movie again, because I'm just like that right now.
The only movie I ever went to the theater multiple times to see was Revenge of the Sith. Plan on doing it the same with this one.
We won't do what Armand does. We won't see the Lord of the Rings like 50,000 times. The Hobbit.
He did not.
He saw it like 7 times The Hobbit.
All right. Well, Armand, if you're listening, what are you doing, dude?
Well, I think in general about everything he does in life, that's a question.
We love you, Armand.
Love
We
you.
love Star Wars Armand, and we do love Star Wars as much as we love Armand. So until then, everyone, we will be back. Enjoy. Wow, 20-minute segment here. Can't get enough of Star Wars.
No, you can't.
You can't get enough.
Special edition.
Special edition. All right, folks. Signing off.